So I'd like you to come up to standing. We'll take off a comfortable distance apart. We're going to start with a few squats. So we'll just slightly sink those hips back and down, keeping the chest lifted. Abs braced, and we'll drive the feet through the floor. Coming back up to standing. Really walking that, squeeze through the legs. We've got 2 squats to go. And then we'll go into our roll down. So we've got the chin to the chest, arms and shoulders are heavy. And we'll roll as far to the floor as we feel we can. And we'll slowly roll back to standing. I'm just going to repeat that a few times. Last one. I like to hold this one at the bottom. We're going to bend the legs. We can take the hands to the floor. We'll walk the hands out into a plank position. Then we can lower the knees to the floor. Take those hands a little bit wider. We'll do some press ups on the knees. We're just round the chest to around elbow height. Driving the hands to the floor. Elbow stretching slightly back. Keeping a strong core brace though. Two to go. And we can lift the knees back into our plank position, bring the hands under the shoulders. Walk those hands back towards our forward fold. We'll slowly roll up to standing. And then we'll just go into a few more squats. So we'll sink those hips back and down, keeping the chest lifted, abs are braced. Last 2. And then we can rest. Okay, so to start with, we should be feeling a bit warm now. We're going to use our band. A couple of options for this one. We can step on the band. Now, if it feels okay too, we can bring a handle up to each shoulder. But if that doesn't feel okay, and you prefer to, you can bring the handles together and hold them to the centre of the chest. Either way, we're going to do, it's called a Kang squat. So we're going to hold the hand side. We're going to tip forwards as if we're coming into like a Romanian deadlift. And then we sink the hips down into our squats. We lift the hips again, so chest is parallel to the floor. And then we lift back up. So I said we can either hold a handle in each hand, or we can bring the handles together, hold them at the centre of the chest, hinge forwards from those hips, and then lower into a squat and reverse it on the way back up. We've got 3 sets. We're going to go for 10 reps in each set. So twist yours, hand in each hand, handles together. If we can't hold them quite as high, you can always hold them a little bit lower, but when we tip forwards, we want to hold them as high up as we feel we can, so we can keep that tension in the band. I'm going to do my first set with one in each hand. So slight bend in the knees, we're going to tip forwards from the hips, keeping that chest lifted, nice strong back. Lower the hips down into a squat, we'll lift the hips, and we'll lift back up again. So we keep the shoulders pulled back, we keep the abs braced the whole time. That's good. And keep it a nice steady tempo. Last two. Last one. And then we can rest. So we'll be in recovery time. And I think we've got 3 rounds in total, so we've got 2 sets to go. Okay, we ready for set 2? So for this one, I'm going to bring the handles together. Going to do the same thing, bring them as hard as I feel I can. Strong core brace. So I'm going to tip forwards from the hips, taking the chest almost parallel to the floor. I'm going to sink the hips down, keeping my shoulders pulled back, lifting the hips, and then lifting back up. Good. We've got 3 to go. Hang on. You have been. A second. Last one. And then we can rest. So we enjoyed that bit of recovery, so we've got 1 more round of 10 of those. Okay. We got our last set of these ones. So again, either handle in each hand up at the shoulders, or you can hold the handles together at all, whether they do feel comfortable. I'm going to go for 1 in each hand again for this last round. So shoulders pull back, nice strong core brace, slight bend in the knees, we tip forwards from the hips, keep those shoulders drawn back, then we sink the hips down, we lift the hips, we lift the chest, and we repeat. That's good. We've got one to go. And then we can rest there. Fantastic work. Okay. So you've got a little bit more work for the legs. Now this can be done with or without your band. Choice is yours. So this next one you're going to need the band slightly further forwards. It might be easier to do without your band. This band that I'm using is nice and flat, so it's easy to keep under the toes. But yeah, let's do it without the band. We'll do it without the band. You will need your band again in a minute. We want the feet quite narrow. We're going to lift the heels off the floor. No, sorry, yeah, I'm showing you. Keep the heels lifted. And then we're going to sink as low into a squat as we feel we can. So we push the toes out over the toes, sinking the hips back, trying to stay as upright as we can, going as low as we can, keeping a squeeze through the legs. And then we'll slowly drive back up to standing, trying to keep the heels lifted the whole time. We're going to do 2 sets of those, 6 reps in a set. After we've done 6 though, we are going to grab our band. We'll do 6 of those. Then we'll grab our band. Either handles crossed or uncrossed. Actually, we'll cross the handles. And then we're just going to take 1 foot back. And we do 6 kickbacks on one side, 6 kickbacks on the other side. And on the kickbacks, we're keeping that slight bend in the leg, foot goes back, and we're just trying to lift it as far off the floor as we feel we can. So we've got 2 rounds of that superset. So we'll start with these, they're called city squats, so we'll start with these. And then the heels need to come down at any point, allow them to, but if we can. We're going to lift up onto those toes, keeping that strong core brace. We're going to bend the legs, sinking as far down towards the heels as we feel we can. And then we'll slowly back up. And again, if you need to lower the heels at the top, you can do. If we can, we're going to keep them lifted. And we're just going to repeat for those other 5 reps, or 4 after this one. The whole time really think about it, squeeze through the legs. We've got 2 to go. Last one. Then we can grab our band. We'll step back on it. Cross the handles over, bring the handles to the hips, a little bit of a bend in the legs. Then we'll step 1 foot back. And we're going to take it as far behind as we can, then bring the toes back to the floor 8 times. Once we've done 8, we'll reset. Same on the other side. And then we'll reset. And we can release the band. A little bit of recovery time. And then we've got another set. Okay. So set 2, again, feet quite narrow. We're going to lift onto the toes, keeping those heels lifted. And we're going to bend the legs and we're just going to sink as far as the chest. It's going to work every part of the leg. It's working the quads, the hamstrings, the calves. It's working through the base of the foot. It's working the Achilles. And again, we just sink as low as we can. And we'll slowly come back up. 5 reps to go. And we're trying to keep it as slow and controlled as possible. But like I said, anytime you need to, you can bring those heels down. We're trying to stay as upright as we can as well. We've got 1 to go. And again, we'll grab our band. We're going to step on it. Feet comfortable distance apart. Cross the handles over. Bring the handles to the hips. Slight bend in the knees. We step 1 foot back, and then we're trying to lift it as far behind us as we can, pushing it back, pushing against that resistance. One more on the side. We reset. Same on the other side. Last one, and then we can rest. A little bit of recovery time. We've got 1 more bit of work for the legs. So in a moment, either with the handles crossed or uncrossed, we'll bring them back to the hips. We're going to sink into that little bit of a squat position. We're going to take 2 steps one way, 2 steps back. And you always lead with the outside foot first. So if you're traveling left first, the left foot moves first, and then you bring the right one in underneath the hip. We don't want to bring the feet too close together because we lose the tension in the bands if we do. So we're trying to keep that tension through those muscles. There's only 1 round of these, but we've got 20, so we're going to do 10 in each direction. There's the last bit of work for the legs. It's going to work our abductors, adductors. Going to hit the glutes a little bit more as well. Really good for our strengthening through the hips and everything like that as well. Okay, so take hold of our band again. We stepped on it, handle in each hand. Crossing them over, bring the handles to the hips. Slight bend in the knees, so we're in that squatted position, chest is lifted, shoulders pull back. And we step with that outside foot first, bring it on under the hip, and back again. So that's 1. And then that'll be 2, so it's 10 times each way. That's good. Last time each way. And then we can rest there. So if you want to, you can step off the bed, you can give those legs a little bit of a shake. a little bit of an easing out. So that's the legs done. I don't know how you can really feel that in my glutes. Which is not a surprise. Okay, next up we're going to work the shoulders. So enjoy a little bit longer recovery. But in a moment I'd like to step back on the band. We've got a combination of lateral raise into front raise. So we lift the arms up to each side, keeping a slight bend in the elbow, trying to bring them as close to shoulder height as we can. And then we do the same in front. Now as we lift into lateral raise, again, don't keep that slight bend in the elbow, so the hands come out a little bit in front of the shoulder. That's going to keep the tension in your deltoid. And same in front of us, we keep that slight bend. We don't want to lock it out, because otherwise we put all that pressure into the elbow. For the first set, we'll do 6 of each. It'll be 12 reps in total. The whole time we're going to keep that nice strong core brace. We want to squeeze the glutes. We don't want to lean back, or we try not to use any momentum. So if we can't quite get to shoulder height, that's fine. We don't go any higher than shoulder height, but we can stop a little bit below. We're still going to work through the shoulders. We'll take that, step back on band, hand on each hand, standing tall, nice strong core brace. Slight bend in those knees, and then we're going to lift those arms up, out to the side, keeping that slight bend in the elbow, back down, and out in front. Last one of each. And we can rest there. So we've got a bit of recovery time. Do it the second round in a moment. In the second round, we're going to increase the reps. We're going to go 8 reps of each. Then we are going to do a third round. We'll go back down to 6 of each. Okay, be ready for set 2. So again, we stand nice and tall, keeping that strong core brace, squeezing the glutes, slight bend in the elbows, slight bend in the knees. We're going to lift up as close to shoulder height as we can, then back down. Same lifting in front. Last one of each. And again, we can rest. Well, enjoy that recovery time. We've got one more set of those. Like I said, we'll drop the reps back down to 6 of each. But you guys are doing awesome work. Absolutely brilliant. stuffed. Okay, last round of these ones. So we stand nice and tall, hand in each hand, strong core brace, slight bend in the elbow, slight bend in the knees. We lift up to the side first, as close to shoulder height as we can, bring them down, and then out in front. Last one of each. And then we can rest there. Next up, in a moment, we're going to do some upright rows. And we're going to enjoy a little bit of recovery, not too long, just a little bit. So on the upright row again, hand in each hand. We draw the elbows up to shoulder height, hands come to about the midline of the chest, and we come back down. And we're trying not to lift the shoulders up towards the ears, we're trying to keep the shoulders down as we do it. 10 reps, 3 sets. First round, hand in each hand, stand nice and tall, strong core brace, and we'll lift the elbows up and out, trying to keep the shoulders down.
You're all I see when I close my eyes and dream. You're all I see. You're all I need.
And then we can rest, just 10. A little bit of recovery, and then we'll go again.
You're all I see when I close my eyes and dream. You're all I see. You're all I need, 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 all I need.
Okay. Round 2, same thing, strong core brace. We lift those elbows up and out, and bring them back down again. So handles come to about midline of the chest. Keep the shoulders down.
You're all I need. You're all I see when I close my eyes and dream. You're all I see. You're all I need, 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 all I need.
Last one. And then we'll rest there. So again, we've got one more set of 10. A little longer recovery, not long. Then we stand nice and tall again, strong core brace. And we're going to lift those elbows up and out, hands come to about midline of the chest. Then we come back down, and we repeat. Last 2. And again, we can have a little rest. We're done with those ones though. Next up, we have got bent over row. So we'll still need to stand on the band, either handle in each hand, uncrossed, or we can cross the band over depending if we need more tension. We're going to hinge forward from the hips, chest is parallel to the floor, or just about parallel to the floor. Nice flat back though, so we're not rounding to the spine. And then we're going to take the elbows back and up, squeezing the shoulder blades together as we do. So elbows go back towards the hip and up. So we're not coming out to the side. back and up. About 15 seconds recovery, then we'll start the first set. 3 sets, 12 reps. Okay, so we tip forward, slight bend in the knees, hand on each hand, then we take the elbows back and up, squeezing the shoulder blades in as we do, and then slowly back down. Good. Two to go. And then we can rest. So we've got 2 rounds of these left. Okay, round 2. So again, hand on each hand, tip forward from the hips, nice flat back, so, and then we take the elbows back and up, so keep the chest slightly lifted, we squeeze the shoulder blades together, we take the elbows back towards the hips and then up. Two to go. And then we'll rest. We've got one more set of those. Okay. We're ready for the final set of these. So again, hand in each hand, strong core brace, tip forwards from the hips, slight bend in those knees. Chest is lifted, strong core brace, elbows go back and up, squeezing the shoulder blades together, and then back down. Last one. And one. Gently release. We're getting close to the finish. That's the end. So after a little bit of recovery, we're going to work the biceps. Then today, hand on each hand, we're going to curl the hands up. We're going to keep one hand curled towards the shoulder as we extend the other one, and we'll bring it up, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So the whole time while that hand is lifted, We're focusing on that squeeze through the bicep. And we're trying not to let the elbow track forwards, we're trying to keep the elbow close to the side. It's going to track a little bit forwards at the top, but we're trying not to lift it too much, otherwise we start lifting with the shoulder rather than the bicep. And so, first round we're going to do 8 reps on each side. So a total of 16. See how we feel after that. I might change it for the second set. There's no guarantees. Okay. So hand on each hand, elbows are at our side, palms are facing forwards. We curl both hands up to the top. Keep one hand at the shoulder as we bring the other one down, and then we'll come back up and we'll swap sides. So lastly, we want to focus on that squeeze to the bicep. Last one on each side. And then we can gently lower them both and have a little bit of recovery time. We've got one more set of those. So if you need to give those arms a little shake out. Okay. Same thing, round 2 though. 8 reps on each side still. So we stand nice and tall. Strong core press, we're going to curl the hands up towards the shoulders. We're going to hold one there as we lower one down. Curl that hand back up and then do the same on the other side. Awesome, my guys. Last one on each side. And then we can gently release. And then we're done with the band. We have one last move to do. A little bit for the back of the arms. We got some tricep press ups. Yep, everyone's favourite, anybody, tricep press ups. So on these, hands are about shoulder width apart. We're going to keep the elbows narrow and next to the rib cage as we lower down. And then we press back into the floor so the elbows stay really close to the ribs. Now there's only one set of these. We're going to do 5 reps. But for each one, we're going to do about 3 seconds on the way down and then come up quick. So these can be done on the knees or toes. I said it's only 5 reps. So we'll come down to the floor. And it's just wide enough so we can keep the elbows close to the ribs. So we keep that strong core brace on the knees or toes. And we're going to slowly lower. For 3, 2, 1, and we push back up. And we'll go again. 3, 2, 1, and back up. 2 down, 3 to go. 3, 2, 1, and back up. Last 2. 3, 2, 1, back up. Last one. 3, 2, 1, and back up. Then we can lower onto the knees if we haven't already. And we can start our stretch by sinking the hips back towards the heels. Release the arms out in front of you. And then we'll gently ease up onto the knees. So come to a kneeling position. We'll take the arms out to shoulder height here. We're going to release the biceps. Thumbs start towards the ceiling, then we're going to rotate them, point them down towards the floor. Then we'll gently release. From here, we're going to step the right foot forward, so we come into a kneeling lunge position. So we've got the heel down, knees roughly over the ankle to start with. We're going to stay nice and tall. We'll take a deep breath in. As we breathe out, just like try and drive the knee towards the toes, squeezing the legs as we do. And if this is enough, we're just going to hold it here, keeping that squeeze to the legs. If you want that a little more, you can lift the left hand up in the air. And we'll just lean out over the right leg. And then we'll just increase the stretch. To the side, down into the back hip. And then we'll gently ease back to the centre. And we'll swap the legs over. So we step the left foot forwards this time, knee lunge position. Knee roughly over the ankle, heel down. Deep breath in. As we breathe out, we're just going to try and push the knee towards the toes, keeping the chest lifted. Again, if it's enough, stay here, holding that squeeze to the legs. Done that a little bit more. Right hand goes overhead. And we'll just lean out over the left. Nice deep breath in. As you breathe out, we'll just ease back to the centre. We can slowly release, we'll slowly make our way back to standing. Here we're going to take our weight into one leg, slight bend in the knee, we'll lift the other ankle up behind us to take hold of it, we'll bring the knees together, hips tucked under. We're going to stand nice and tall. You need to hold your ear, take the arm out, hold a chair, hold a wall.
Dance with me. Dance with me.
So deep breath in, as you breathe out, we'll release. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Knees together, hips tucked under, we'll stand nice and tall. And we can gently release.
Dance with me.
Last stretch. We're going to take a nice deep breath in. As we do, we're going to sink into a little bit of a squat. Then as you come out of the squat, we'll circle the arms overhead. Now as we breathe out, the top just relax your shoulders and circle the arms back. And then we'll do that one more time, nice deep breath. As we come out of the squat, hands overhead. As you breathe out, the top just relax your shoulders and circle the arms back and down. Fantastic work, everyone.